Listen, man, we're in the month of May. Lots of good stuff is happening. You know, a lot of stuff that we were talking about at the end of last year and at the beginning of this year is coming. And, you know, if you guys have been sticking through us with, you know, either our Drake content that we were doing back in January, through a Travis Scott video, through our Kendrick Lamar video, the new J.Cole one that just popped off. Guys, thank you so much for the reception lately. It's been absolutely beautiful. And this is why we do these types of videos for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting response from people in Germany and Lebanon. Like, it's getting fucking international, beautiful. And it's exciting, man, because we wouldn't be here without them.
Absolutely. And it's cool to see what you guys think about this because, you know, the whole point about the show realistically is to be able to give you guys, you know, sort of a conversation and everything that comes with it. But on that note, let's welcome them back into the episode. So these are going to be the top 10 collaborations we want to see out of 2021. We're midway point right now. Shit's getting crazy. There's been a lot of stuff that's been teased on social media.
The off season's coming this Friday.
Yes, sir. We've been a part actually of sort of a teasing. So we're going to mention that in the video. And guys, basically the whole concept of this list is that we're going to go through all the collaborations that, like, you know, we've seen so far are teased, but they're not going to be in any sort of particular ranking.
Yeah.
Not only that, but we're going to save our favorite one for last, just to at least, you know, create a little bit of hype to the video. But Lou, take us away, man, because there's some interesting shit on our list.
Yeah, so speaking of the offseason, I mean, the hype is fucking realer than ever. I really couldn't wait for this album because it's going to be one of Cole's best. Like, that's my prediction. Okay, that's really going to be a top 3 Cole album. And
a top 3 Cole album?
I think so. I definitely think so. And with the offseason, it looks like it's going to be, you know, part of that mixtape era of the whole basketball narrative of, you know, Cole being up and coming in the game and then him coming to kind of this warm up now to the fall off. And all of his prior mixtapes have had features. So
yeah, facts.
If there were to be a feature on this, I would love to see Cordae and Cole connect. And that's first on our list. And this is an interesting story because, you know, Cordae really popped off after J. Cole dropped 1985 on KOD.
That is facts.
And he had the response track to it. So what were your impressions when you got that?
It was cool because I remember coming out and I was really not familiar with YBN Cordae. It was a completely different vibe. And it was nice to see because I think right after that, that's when Cordae had gotten the Dr.Dre co-sign where there was videos of him in the studio with him where he was sleeping. I'm not sure if you ever seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's pretty
That's cool. That was a cool moment. But I didn't expect someone from the YBN, I would say, music group, if we could put it like that, from what it was back in, I think, 2018, you know, to at least come out with a response that sounded that great. Because his image didn't fit it, and you could see that he was trying to maybe go for a different lane in his career at that point, but he pulled off that freestyle in such a good fashion, and it makes me realize, okay, he would take these J. Cole beats and he would absolutely murder them.
Yeah, and a lot of people actually compare the two of them, and I do see it in the sense that, like, both of these rappers rap in a way where it's super relatable content because they get introspective about their personal lives. And at the same time, like, lyrically, they're amazing. Their rhyme schemes, the flows are all great. But, like, the lyrics are simple to understand. And that's something that they both thrive in, is that, like, it's not overcomplicated. You know what I mean?
It depends, though, on what type of J. Cole writing we're talking about. Because I would say something like For Your Eyes Only is extremely intricate and has, like, a lot of different double entendres, let's say. Or, like, you know, storytelling structures where, like, you have to be following along or you have to be paying attention to the narrative because it kind of throw you off. I don't think Cordae's gotten to him at that sort of level yet.
No, definitely not.
I don't necessarily think anyone's at that J. Cole level, to be honest with you, when it comes to, like, that sort of storytelling. But the whole fact that they, one, have two great types of productions, like they both love soul samples, they love, you know, taking these lo-fi beats and going on, like, you know, these really low, like, these sort of vibrations where you're moving with the music, and their melodies while they're rapping is even more fucking mind-blowing. So that's something too. I was listening to J. Cole's music recently and I was like, man, this guy has such great fucking melodies for a lyrical rapper, in quotations. Like, I'm not talking about the R&B sort of melodies. I'm just talking about the natural ability to glide on a production. Mm-hmm. And I mean, do you think that's something that both of these guys have, or something that Cordae is maybe, like, you know, sort of getting more in ease with? Because I listened to that 4-pack and those are the sort of vibes I got.
Yeah, and you also got that on a song like R&P, which Cole actually produced. Because after that whole 1985 response track, apparently they linked up and Cole played him some beats, and one of them ended up being R&P, which came out with Anderson .Paak, and you got a lot of, like, harmonizing and, you know, melodic type of flows from Cordae there. So their link up would be awesome, and I think a lot of people want to see it right now.
I would like to see it. I think it would be cool to see that passed down of the torch in quotations, because, I mean, if you look at anyone that's in that lane and probably who has the best I would say commercial appeal, if we could put it like that, is Cordae. Like
Yeah.
Cordae is going to be able to eat on a very 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 large fan base, and he already has it. That's what's scary about Cordae, is that he's building up a cult fan base with being able to play also in the mainstream sort of light. And I also like the sort of approach he's taking to his branding with the whole, mogul vibe. I mean, you see what he's doing and the sort of sponsorships he's pulling in and the sort of stuff that he's preaching on his stories daily. It's really nice. It's a really nice energy, and that's something I think a lot of the new generation needs.
And to speak on that new generation, the next duo we have is Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar.
That's crazy.
And to me, they've always had that kind of little bro, big bro kind of relationship, because they are cousins, but Kendrick's 33 and Baby Keem's only 20 years old, man. He's got 2 mixtapes out. He has, Do-Rag Activity, which just came out with Travis Scott. And what I think separates Baby Keem from, let's say, the rest of the new generation is that his sound is super distinct, and
but it's also extremely diverse. Excuse me to interrupt you.
It is.
And I think out of everyone right now, if I have to give someone that has the most unique style, or I would say aesthetic, I know I fucking say that a lot. I know
but that's what I'm saying.
Is me for that, but
stylistically, he's very separate from everybody else, because he rides these atmospheric vibes, and he's great. And I mean, obviously, we saw him link up with Kendrick for PG Lang. And I don't know what's going to come out of that creative project, but we also got a leak from the two of them. Have you heard Vent?
I have heard Vent.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I think people are overhyping it, though.
No, it's fire, man.
I would need to listen to real album material.
That shit's been on repeat for me. And I don't even fuck with leaks that heavy, but that Vent leak...
There's probably a reason why it's a leak. There's for sure a reason why
it was probably scrapped off one of their albums, to be honest.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I want to listen to the final product. Like, that's why I'm not really into leaks, to be honest with you. It's just, like, you could see that, like, there's a blatant dip in quality from usually what you're hearing in the leaks to what's actually getting released. I mean, take, for example, Travis Scott. Like, the guy has so many unreleased tracks, but nothing really ever compares to what's on
but if you look at, let's say, The Curse from Travis, I mean...
Yeah,
that could have been on Astroworld. I would have fucking taken that.
No, I don't know.
I would have easily taken that song.
That's more of a Birds vibe. But anyways, back to Baby Keem and Kendrick. I mean... It's interesting because both of them are in a place right now where, I mean, Baby Keem is going to be able to either, one, explode his career or completely die down, I think. I mean, like, this is a huge fucking album for him. I mean, especially with how big demand is for his music. And I think right now, more than ever, fans are down. But I don't think Baby Keem's missing, by the way. I think Baby Keem's going to be a future superstar.
Yeah, and apparently the upcoming album is going to be called The Melodic Blue.
Fine. And
I like that. If they are gonna collab, I feel like it will be on Baby Keem's project just to give him that extra boost, because he is still up and coming. But look, it's super interesting because it seems like Kendrick, at least from the leak I heard, that Kendrick's gonna kind of come into his lane instead of Baby Keem coming into Kendrick's wheelhouse. Because let's be honest, as good and as exciting as Baby Keem's music is, he can't play with Kendrick on a lyrical standpoint. He's just... That's not what his music is.
No, it wouldn't, and I don't think like his content matter even speaks to that. To be honest with you, it's very simple content matter. And
it is.
It's mostly setting up the groove of the song and you going through the melodies with him. Like, take something like Hooligan. The whole track is just. I would say like it's probably like Baby Keem had his most misogynistic, if that makes sense. Like,
he's on his Future vibes, right?
Yeah, he's really on his Future vibes. But I mean, you hear that type of production that he's going on, it's like, whoa. You know how fucking hard it is to make a song sound like that? Like, if you listen to how complex that song is, like, it's actually deep as fuck. Like, the production on it is always super well done. The only thing is that I feel like sometimes he's a bit inconsistent with his sound, if that makes sense to you. I mean, like, not in the fact where he doesn't have one sort of sound, or the fact that, like, he hasn't found his identity yet. I just mean, like, sometimes it gets too experimental for me, or it gets like something that I don't find sonically pleasing. Do you ever find that's an issue with Baby Keem's music?
Not really, because like I said earlier, I mean, like, stylistically, he's probably one of the most diverse artists out of this new generation. And when I hear a Baby Keem song, I know it's a Baby Keem song right off the bat because of, his type of delivery, because of the atmosphere that the beat creates. And honestly, no, I don't think that's an issue. Maybe sometimes the songs can run for a bit too long. Something, for example, like Do-Rag Activity, I felt like his part could have been shorter on that, but nonetheless, man, it was a great song.
It was a great song. I like that's one like Do-Rag Activity is fire, and I think that that was one of the first Travis Scott verses that I heard in a while that actually inspired me. But maybe not necessarily that he's lacking on that side. But I'll kind of rephrase it. I mean, I like certain types of sounds more than others that he's producing, if I could put it that way. But yet again, you could see what him and Kendrick Lamar do. But I mean, at this point, we started this list. Who's someone on this list that you'd like to see on here?
Like to see on a Baby Keem album, you're saying?
No. Just on the general list. Like, who's someone that we didn't include that you'd like?
That we didn't include.
That you'd like to see?
I don't know. Honestly, like most of the artists that like we have on this list are a lot of my dream collaborations for the year. So I can't think of anyone on the spot. I mean, seeing Jay-Z and Nas this year was awesome.
Do you think we could see that again?
Maybe. Do you have anyone in mind?
I would think Young Thug and Future. I'm not even joking. I would like to see both
yeah,
of them.
But they collab
together.
kind of often, you know. Like,
Yeah,
it's
but
not
like
like something I get too hyped about.
No,
I'd be
but
down,
I think
mean,
something that would be able to sound good, especially like both in their careers at this point. But I mean, fuck it.
Yeah. Anyways,
At this point, yeah.
Let's go on to the next one, and this one is maybe the most surprising fucking picture that was posted between Westside Gunn and Travis Scott. And these guys are polar opposites in terms of their aesthetic, in terms of just the type of music that they make, and also their status in the game, because Travis Scott has become one of the biggest artists in the industry, and obviously Westside Gunn has carved a huge lane for himself and Griselda in the underground. But when I first saw this, I mean, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I think it was actually Nick from our Discord who said, like, okay, we're probably gonna get some psychedelic coke rap. That's what it is.
I don't know how it would sound though, because like, what is Travis Scott gonna start getting on like Derringer beats? Because that's the thing, is that I don't know.
You know what I think it's gonna be?
What?
Because we've seen Travis one time rap on a boom bap beat, and that was on Coffee Bean. So I feel like that's what could happen.
It's very different though. Like I don't find it's Griselda. Like Coffee Bean's not Griselda.
It's still
aesthetic.
jazz hip hop, man. You
It
have that
is.
funk guitar. It's very slower. It's very slow compared to a usual Travis
I know,
beat.
but
You know.
what I'm trying to say is like, is it Derringer production? Like it's completely.
No, I don't think he's gonna go on a Derringer beat.
No,
that's a bit too tough.
But imagine Travis Scott on a Derringer beat though. Imagine if you'd be able to pull that off. How fucking sick that would sound.
I don't know, but I feel like you need bars to be on a Derringer beat. You know what I mean?
You do. But hey, we have seen that sometimes though, that like Travis Scott could really get into his bag with that.
Yeah, and they also both have like crazy ad lib games.
They
you
do.
know what I mean? So
who would control most of the ad libs on that feature?
I don't know, man. I mean, you just
Who
get.
would you rather have?
I would rather have the boom 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 booms from Westside Gunn, man.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that shit. Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
do agree with you. It depends the type of production they're going on though.
It depends. What would you prefer? Like, would you rather Travis kind of goes into Westside Gunn's house, or the other way around?
I don't know, because man, I feel as if Westside Gunn could pull off a good hook. I think he's a good.
He is a good hook man.
I think he's
Low-key.
low key a good hook man. I think it would depend though. It would just depend the type of like you're obviously not going to get Westside Gunn on like Astro Thunder. Like that's never going to happen. I don't think that would ever
Yeah.
go down. But I do think maybe on something like NC-17.
That's possible.
I think maybe around that sort of sound. But regardless, I mean it's obviously out of left field, and I really don't know where this is coming from.
Do you think Westside Gunn paid for it? Let's keep it 100.
I hope so. That would be
You
great.
think so?
That would be great
Okay.
business for both of them. Like I'm at like you getting a Travis Scott cosign, and Travis Scott's getting money for his cosign, so it obviously makes sense for the both of them. But I mean, back to the actual sound of it, I don't know where they would match. I think that's just like way too hard to imagine. But yeah, Travis Scott would obviously have to get a bit more lyrical if he wants to go on those Derringer beats. And then,
I don't see it happening though. Like Travis is really not going into that direction right now. Now he's trying to create cinematic music, you know what I mean, with that futuristic type sound that we're probably going to see on Utopia. So
maybe there's a Utopia feature.
no,
Maybe there's a
no way.
Utopia feature.
There's no way.
He
man.
always likes to pull out those odd features.
That's
I'm telling
true.
you.
But I mean, like Andre 3K, that's an odd feature, but it made sense. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Like that's what I'm saying though, is that there is that room for wiggle. You know, like Don Toliver. Where was Don Toliver coming out of? Especially like with the first
but
time
he's
you
his
heard it.
protege though. Like it's different.
I know, but who the fuck knows? Maybe Travis Scott wants to give Westside Gunn the biggest cosign of his life.
Yeah,
That would be massive for him. Imagine what that would do for the underground community.
that'd be awesome, man.
And
That'd be huge.
Does that officially give Westside Gunn the best member of Griselda if that would go down?
I just think that Westside Gunn's the best curator, man. Like the way that he puts together a team of producers, and fucking his feature lists have been outstanding. I mean, the guy got fucking Slick Rick out of retirement on his last album, so
That's
he
facts.
can literally do it all. But staying on the Griselda topic, let's move on to somebody else, and that's Benny the Butcher, who is going to be working with Drake.
I don't know where that's gonna happen though. There was
This is
rumors-
the story. Apparently, there's 2 songs that they made. One of them is Benny's with a Drake feature. The other one is Drake's with a Benny feature.
but I don't know where those two would place. Like maybe on the plugs I met too. Like that could have been fucking cool to see.
To see Drake on there, yeah.
Drake's one of the plugs. That's what that would be awesome. Oh, fucking. But I mean, regardless, I don't think it would fit Certified Lover Boy. Based on like what we've been hearing, especially from the camps, that it's gonna have that kind of views vibe where it's a bit more on the R&B side of things. Like I don't see where Benny the Butcher would fit on that end, but I mean it's cool because you would understand the type of content they would be going for. I mean, both of them are in a stage in their career where I feel like they're both on top and on top of probably their own genres, competing with very few people. And I think the sort of mogul vibe that both of them are coming off of right now would sound really good for a song. And like we've mentioned that. Okay, where would you go?
Okay, no, I was gonna say, like, my thoughts on this are that, like, obviously Benny on almost any song is coming to you with those street bars. And if we're being honest here, I mean, Drake has said it himself on a song like Lemon Pepper Freestyle, where he's like, I never did one crime, but my brothers can't caption that line. Like, he's been around certain experiences. He's been around, like, the streets and shit, but he hasn't personally experienced that. So I don't think he can come with that type of lyricism. You know what I mean?
But that's it. I think the only lane they could really go for is that on that business.
So
talk.
do you think that maybe you'll just get like some Drake hooks and Benny's gonna handle the verses, or they'll be going bar for bar?
Even at that, like, what are you gonna get? Like, you're gonna get a hip hop song with only a Drake chorus? Like, I don't know. I don't know how that would sound necessarily. And regardless, I feel like Drake only really does verses and styles like, let's say more melodic, or let's say more dancehall. Like, I feel that's more of his hook game. More than anything.
True.
When Drake goes on a hip hop production or on a soul production, I want to hear him rap. Like, I could give a fuck about the hook, to be honest with you.
Honestly, if I had to put my money, I think it's gonna be a Hit Boy beat.
Yeah, you think
I
so?
definitely think it's gonna be a Hit Boy beat.
They've all been rumored to collaborate together. I know Hit Boy's been working with Drake and Hit Boy's been working with Benny.
Yeah.
Based on social media posts, that could be super fucking exciting. Or maybe Hit Boy is producing Benny's album for the part 2, and then Drake gets on that album.
Possible. Honestly, I feel like it's gonna be more of a single. I feel like the first song is gonna be Benny's song, and Drake's gonna come in. And honestly, if Drake is, willing to put out a verse alongside Benny, he's gonna come with some heat.
Well, he has co-signed him though. I'm not sure if you ever saw it. He reposted his story. He reposted the plugs I met too.
I
On
did
his
see
IG.
that. Yeah.
I know he's a fan of his music. Like, that would be awesome to see, especially that the underground scene with that co-sign would do damage.
And now you have, photos of, obviously it's not on the list because we tried to keep it to like not repeating the same artist, but Drake and Freddie were also photographed together. So
that's
maybe
nuts,
Drake is down to go into Pusha T's co-rap lane.
that would be absolutely,
Because now he's working around everybody that's
But think
in
about-
Pusha T's circle, right? Which is
I know, but think about this too. Think about this. Imagine Drake sees the marketability of the coke rap lane and of the underground lane and wants to bring it and give it its cosign to go up to where it's back and rightfully been.
that, or maybe it's a big fuck you to Pusha T. Like, let me come into your lane, into your
I don't know if he's that
subgenre.
petty. I don't know if he's
Maybe
that petty.
let's see if I can come in there and make your kind of music and do it better. Obviously,
At that
I don't
point-
think he can.
At
but
that point, he would have dropped the other. He would have dropped the other diss track if that would have happened.
I don't know, man. But we're definitely gonna get some fucking subs on CLB.
Okay, but
I guarantee that.
That's going to be a crazy review, guys. You guys are going to want to subscribe for that right now. Trust me, I just made your day. Subscribe for that and wait for that. But I like what you're mentioning about Freddie Gibbs, because there is a collaboration that we would like to see, and actually that we probably sparked on Twitter. We're probably going to have the picture of that on the screen right now. So yeah, basically we made a tweet one day about a versus battle between none other than Pusha T and Freddie Gibbs. If you guys are OG Twitter fans, you guys probably remember that. Now, we didn't expect anything out of it until Freddie Gibbs himself quote-tweeted and said, "Fuck the verses, I would do an album."
Exactly.
And the whole internet exploded. I mean, we made it onto Hip Hop DX. We were on Complex, Hypebeast, XXL, you name it, we were there. And does that just indicate to you the magnitude of a collaboration like that? Like, what that would really do for the genre as a whole? And going back to this, now that Freddie Gibbs got the Drake cosign, do you think Pusha will ever do it?
Do I think Pusha T will ever collab with Drake?
Just because of that Drake post.
I don't think that's ever happening, man. I mean,
that's a cosign.
I think the bad blood that's between them is gonna keep just fucking boiling up, and it's gonna either reach a tipping point or just kind of fade away, and they stay, in their separate zones. But I mean, this is exciting because Palm Olive was one of the best collab tracks of 2019 off Bandana, and if you want my honest opinion, Pusha T has the one up on Freddie.
Okay, whoa.
Pusha T has the one up on Freddie, so maybe
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
He won the song, man.
Okay.
He out-rapped him. I'm not saying by much. I mean, Freddie does his thing. He fucking stays locked into this, really tight flow, and the bars are crazy. He's rapping about like how his neighborhood's a war zone, but then you get Pusha T coming in with that delivery, and we're hearing him on a Mad Lib beat, and that was a fucking moment in itself. He's rapping about how Obama let him into the White House knowing he was a criminal.
Crazy.
The bars on that verse from Pusha were out of this world.
And top 10 Pusha verse?
Maybe.
Top 10 Pusha verse?
Maybe, man. Definitely top 15.
Leave that in the comments.
But let me ask you this. Do you think that Freddie can out-rap Pusha on this next one?
Jeez. Let's talk about Alfredo then. I gotta go to Alfredo. Okay. For you, do you think that Freddie Gibbs put up the best writing of his career on Alfredo? Yes or no? And that's how I'll answer this. Do you think that it was probably
writing?
Do you think it's probably one of his best written albums?
It's one of his best written albums. I think that in terms of writing, Bandana probably tops it. I feel like he got into some more serious subject matter on that one.
More of a cinematic experience as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's just what you get when you get those
Madlib beats,
those Japanese fucking abstract samples from Madlib. It's bound to happen. But I mean, it was definitely probably the most important album of his career because it got him so much industry respect to a point where on this next album, SSS, he's working with Pharrell, he's working with Mike Will Made It, he's working with like the biggest producers and potentially artists in the industry. He's been fucking photographed with Sway Lee as well. So, I mean,
is he okay? So
he's in his prime.
He's in his prime. Freddie Gibbs is in his prime. I should have just asked that. I shouldn't have made this more complicated than it is. Okay, Freddie Gibbs is in his prime. I think Pusha T is in his prime. Based off of Daytona. Like, he hasn't released anything after that. I can't knock it. Like, it's a 10 on 10. This is what I'm going to say, though. I think Freddie Gibbs, definitely has the skill set. I just think, like, Pusha T won't let it happen. I don't think Pusha T would ever let that title leave his lap.
But that's the thing solidified. Is that, I mean, it's just... I can't even, like, think of too many times where Pusha T has even gotten bodied on a song.
Never.
It doesn't happen,
It really doesn't happen.
And these guys are, two of Coke Rap's finest. And obviously, no one's ever going to wash anybody on a collab like that. But if somebody is to be called, let's say, the better rapper out of the two of them, by a very close margin, I'm giving it to Pusha T.
Okay.
Close margin, though.
Okay, I do agree with you. The only time I do think that Pusha T does have a problem on a track is when Kendrick's on it. I have to give
nostalgia, eh?
I have to give nostalgia to Kendrick. I had to search it up. I was just like, fuck, man. I was playing it the other morning. Yeah, definitely.
Maybe Drug Dealers Anonymous with Jay-Z. I don't know.
Because Pusha's verse on that was
he went hard. It
was stupid. But regardless, listen, I'm super down for the collaboration because both of them are in their prime. They're both coming off of future classics. I think Freddie's coming off of 2 future classics since that time. But let's move on to something that's pretty interesting. And I wanna ask you right now. You look at the 2 hottest, let's say, new generation rappers. The people that really blew up in the pandemic phase of hip hop. Let's call it that. You look at Lil Durk and you look at Lil Baby. It's interesting because both of them right now are on super big highs. They could share the similar types of productions. We know they've been.
I don't think this one made the list though. I thought we had Lil Baby and someone else. Pretty sure we had Lil Baby and Kanye for this one.
No, I thought
we can talk about both of them briefly. I mean, but yeah, we had changed that to Lil Baby and Kanye.
Okay, I thought we were doing Lil Baby and Durk.
No.
Okay, well, let's talk about Lil Baby and Kanye then.
Yeah, well, look, for Lil Baby and Durk, I'll be honest with you, I feel like they are a good duo. I mean, the song they had on Khaled was solid, but if you want my honest opinion, I'm not that hyped for the collab album.
Why do you mean?
I don't know, man. I'm not that excited. I'm not sold on it, no.
I think anyone out of the pandemic right now, like both of them are really on top of their game. I think they could deliver some heat.
Yeah, they definitely could. I mean, I'm just not excited for it. Personally, I'm not too into Dirk's music, to be honest with you. I'm definitely a huge Lil Baby fan, but I mean, for a couple of songs, okay. But if if the voice and the hero is gonna get a 20-song track list, I'm gonna listen to it. Probably won't be for me. What are your thoughts on it?
No, I think it would be. I think it would be fucking fire. I think they're both really good rappers, and especially in their respective lane. But if I would have to ask myself which one would I probably prefer if I had to choose one this year, Lil Baby and Kanye, or Lil Baby and Lil Durk, I would probably choose Lil Baby and Kanye. I would probably give it to that at the end of the day, just because it would probably sound like something completely different. And honestly, like that was the thing was when we were creating content, we had these two in our contention, and I was really under the impression we were doing the loop when I was reading over the notes. My
No
bad
stress,
for that.
man.
But I do have to say this: I'd rather get a full body rather than a single, because I feel like, especially that if you would get that Lil Baby and that Kanye West collab, it would probably be a single. I don't think it would be a full-fledged album, or I don't think it'd even make an album appearance.
And I feel like it would be, one of those impulsive Kanye collabs in the sense that, if you look at a song like I Love It or Na 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 with the Baby, it's just, I don't know, it's Kanye just getting excited about a new artist and wanting to tap in right away. And that's kind of the way that it seemed, because what happened was Kanye had tweeted out saying like, Lil Baby's my favorite rapper right now, but apparently he doesn't want to work with me. And then Baby hopped back on Twitter and said, I don't know why nobody told me. And then he flew out to Wyoming and they posted that picture of the two of them cooking something up. Honestly, as good as this would be, what intrigues me more is the Lil Baby on the Kanye production.
Yeah, you would think so?
That would be more interesting to me than the two of them sharing some verses.
I don't know, because I would like to see both of them go on a whole project. Like that's what
I think. On a whole project.
Well, I'm talking about Lil Durk and Lil Baby.
Oh, okay.
Like that's why I'm still comparing the two. But I mean, that's the only reason why I would aim for them dropping that before, is because, as you said, you're probably gonna get a lackluster feature. Like what is that? Like what does that really do for your single? I think it would be good, but dude, they didn't cook anything in that like time being together. Probably got into the studio, probably showed him some beats, hopped on something, said, okay, when I feel like dropping this, I'll drop this.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the whole vibe with it, from what I know. And especially that, Lil Durk and Lil Baby have a load of good chemistry together. They've done a lot of collaborations together. I think it would go nice. I do think it would go nice. But what do you feel as if, like, because I don't think I sold you on it yet. What do you think is missing from that collaboration tape to make you like really say like, okay, fuck it, I will go listen to that? A
consistent track list. I feel like there might be a few hits, but I mean overall, what's really carrying that project, especially, because in my eyes, I mean, Baby just brings so much more energy to a track than Durk.
That is true.
So I don't know.
Well,
it's more my personal taste, because the revival that Lil Durk has had this year has been fucking huge, man.
It is huge.
And I mean, there's a lot of things that are attributed to it. There's, obviously the Drake cosign. I mean, there was his collabs with King Von. But look, it's not something that piques my interest, to be honest.
No.
But yeah.
I mean, the whole thing of them like being able to like go after it would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Going on that comeback narrative though, Bobby Shmurda's been out. It's been over 3 months now, and people are wondering, where's the song? Fuck the album at this point. Like, I just want to hear something from Bobby, and a lot of people think that he fumbled the bag, man. Some people are saying that, he should have captured the moment and released that first day out song 2 to 3 weeks after being put out. In my eyes, I do agree with that would have been maybe the best time to do it. But at the same time, he knows that first song or two is detrimental to his career. At least I think it is. Because people are expecting a fucking hit.
They are expecting a hit. But if he does come back with this collaboration, which is on our list, if he comes back with Jay-Z, because he has teased that word J, which we all know what that means. Well, we could put in parameters. If we were to get a Bobby Shmurda and Jay-Z song, it would break the internet. Mm-hmm. It would absolutely like blow up the whole community. People would be looking around like, what the fuck just went down? And that's what I'm down for. Is like, we need that sort of hype experience. We need a good Jay-Z cosign. Fuck it, give it, man. Just give it. Give it to Bobby Shmurda.
And if someone that deserves it, it is Bobby. And Jay-Z has been a real advocate, you could say, for the newer gen. He's helped 21 Savage and Lil Uzi in certain situations, and in this particular case, there's no doubt that Jay-Z has serious respect for Bobby because, you know, they've both been in that street life. And not only that, they're both from Brooklyn. So that goes a long way. If you look even deeper than that, on the song Bam off of 444, there's that classic Jay-Z line where he raps, what does he rap? Yeah, I'll Bobby Shmurda anybody you heard of, which was, you know, an iconic line. So he's definitely aware of him. And look, what's interesting is that obviously their sounds aren't too similar, but at the same time, I could see it working.
I could see it working. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, as long as you have Jay-Z on your track, it's probably going to be quality. And not to mention, Bobby Shmurda is just this someone who could bring up a ton of energy to a project. You know, and then you have that one song that maybe slows down for Jay-Z, and, you know, maybe they try to go on something more of a classic production or something that maybe would suit the vibe more on Jay-Z's side, because I don't see where that would fit on a project. Maybe a single together, but I mean, I maybe he gave context to what Jay was, because he didn't mention it like throughout it, like, okay, I'd be getting something from Jay. That's probably Jay-Z. But I mean, there could be fucking Jay Critch or like Jay Guapo. You don't know.
Yeah, that's
so
facts.
I mean, I'm hoping for it, but don't you think it's a bit too unrealistic?
I don't think so, man. I mean, yes, Hove is very selective on who he gives features out to, but I just feel like there's too much respect probably between the two of them. And Jay-Z also knows that this is a huge fucking moment, and he's not slowing down. I mean, we got him on a written testimony rapping his fucking ass off at the age of 50, and Hove might not put out too many more albums or even any albums at all, but he's going to be there for those moments that really have, let's say, a pin in the culture.
That is true. And it would also carry the whole torch down to be like, here, finally someone grabs it, especially after being in for 7 years. And that would be cool to the career and the story too, because, you know, imagine the type of material that comes from Bobby Shmurda after that whole event. And this is all hypothetical, by the way, but I mean, what happens if like fucking Jay-Z comes out of nowhere and, you know, hops on this crazy trap aesthetic and just starts
man.
and just starts using like what is it called, a triple time flow?
Yeah.
Just
That'd be pretty crazy. Honestly, I would be down for it. That or like a DJ Premier beat.
No,
one or the
Bobby
other.
Shmurda cannot get on a DJ Premier.
Well, look, if you look at something like So Ghetto, you know, off of Volume 3,
but it's just so out there. Like I rather like a Timbaland beat for me would make more sense.
That would be nice with some harder hitting drums for sure.
I think Bobby Shmurda needs hard hitting drums more than anything. Like I think it would sound cool. It would just sound like way too off though. I don't know where they would meet in the middle. But regardless, like, you know, do you think that more, let's say, older artists now that are looking over the game should be giving cosigns to younger kids, especially to be able to advance their career?
Because it bridges that gap of generations, and there's a certain, you know, wisdom and intelligence for, let's say, an older artist to tap in with the younger guys, because, I mean, obviously, we've seen time and time again rappers age like fine wine, but at the end of the day, the most popping artists will be people that are younger. So for them to stay relevant, or for them to kind of just show that they can tap into other fan bases, that's always awesome to see.
Yeah, that is awesome to see. And that's what I hope to see from Bobby Shmurda and Jay-Z. But I mean, listen, let's move on to another one of these collaborations, because this is something I've wanted to talk about on the podcast for a while.
We haven't yet.
We have not yet. And it's A$AP Rocky and Tyler, the Creator. And we have to do more content on these guys. But actually, yeah, you guys probably ended up getting the A$AP Rocky All Smiles video before this. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. But I mean, it would be cool because this has been teased since Who That Boy.
Yeah.
And this has been a collaboration that, you know, we know is in the works, probably still at this point. But it's just like, before we even dive into what it would sound like, do you think that it's good for them in their careers right now to maybe release this, or they should maybe hold off for a while?
I think that there's maybe no better time.
Okay.
Because Tyler, the Creator, just completely reinvented himself with Igor and gave us an album that, you know, for the first time in his career isn't even hip hop. It's an album that you can't, you know, put into any sort of box. And if you look at A$AP Rocky, you know, obviously they both, you know, have solo albums that have been teased to come out this year. But after this solo album, you know, A$AP Rocky's catalog is kind of getting filled up. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be his 4th studio album. So it would be, you know, a good change of pace in both of their careers to make the Wangsap album. You know what I mean?
It would sound nice. It would sound nice. Based off what you got of Who That Boy and Potato Salad, I mean, you could just imagine the type of shit that they cooked up. And I mean, Tyler the Creator is a genius of a producer engineer, and I think when you mix that with what Rocky has to offer as just a rapper and just setting up the whole I would say flow of the song, and the way it's going to be paced and everything, it would just sound beautiful. And that's what they do well too, is like they don't compromise either of their sounds to be able to both fit on a track. I mean, take something like Potato Salad. Both of their verses were extremely calm, but yet, they both served, that sort of sample.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something too abstract. Like, let's say, okay, ASAP Rocky maybe couldn't have fit on some productions from Igor, and then Tyler couldn't have fit on some things from Testing. But that's what I think is really vital in the success of a project like this, is just them both having their parts.
In theory, ASAP Rocky shouldn't have worked on a song like Who Dat Boy, because that's a haunting fucking beat. And when I first heard it and I saw ASAP Rocky attached to it, I'm like, what the fuck? But what's amazing about their chemistry is the balance between both of their voices. Because
I'm gonna cut in. I'm actually gonna disagree with you on that. Just because I think that the track was so fast paced, and I've seen him on other productions like that. Example, like Wild for the Night, or let's say I was thinking about Lord Pretty Flacco Jody too, but that was more on the darker side, not really the speed. But I mean, I've seen him go on quick productions, and it actually sounds really nice.
No, it sounds nice. I just didn't picture it. But I mean, what I love about their chemistry as a duo is the balance between their vocals, because Tyler is kind of the dirtier sound in it. You know what I mean? He's more aggressive, he's more grimier. And then you have Rocky, who sounds cleaner in his delivery. So it's that perfect balance of dirty and clean. And when they collaborate, the wordplay is off the fucking chain. I mean, everything that they do together is fantastic. And what's a bigger sell for it too is the fact that they're such good friends, and you can tell that there's, a real friendship between them. And that's obviously going to make the music and the collaboration better.
Yeah, and I think either way, like, even if they were to take like faster productions, or if they were to take more melodic stuff, or they would find maybe an alternative.
What's your favorite collab from them? Potato Salad for me.
Who Dat Boy?
Okay.
I would say Who Dat Boy. I think it was just too iconic of a moment.
They were good also on telephone calls together.
That was fire.
And then there was even What the Fuck Right Now.
That was crazy.
That was great too.
But I mean, regardless, like, they're both at an interesting point in their career, and I think both of them could do great. But going on to another collaboration that I think could be absolutely crazy, because they both been in the studio, is Young Thug and Lil Wayne. And I never thought that this was actually gonna happen until I think it was that you saw it was an Instagram post, if I'm not mistaken, where you saw them both in the studio.
Yeah,
or was it on Twitter?
It was a video. I think, I don't know where
I can't remember
it
where it
first
was.
surfaced, but yeah, it was a video of the two of them. And what's interesting about this one is that they were kind of at odds for a while. You know what I mean? They had a beef that dated back to like 2014, when Thugger was being introduced to the Cash Money crowd and was getting in with Birdman and all that sort of stuff. And Thug has admitted himself that Wayne's his biggest inspiration, man. And you hear it. You hear it in the vocal inflections. You hear it in the way that he'll carry out a hook. And it's just interesting to see that after all that beef, I mean, it came down to points where they would meet up with each other, and, Wayne would refuse to dap him up. It came to those serious points. And there was even that whole tour bus incident, which we're not going to get into, but some pretty deep shit there too. To see them kind of make amends and come together for the greater good of both of their fan bases, it's awesome, man.
It was fire. It was definitely fire. And they have responsibility to make good music too. That's another thing, is that they both have really dedicated fan bases with probably similar type of fans, just because, right, the aesthetics just match, and they go together, and they go together well. But I think, listen, this project, if it is a project, because this is hypothetical.
It's probably a song.
It probably is a song. But let's say it was a project. Who would you want to see on this? Because hypothetically, like, I'm saying, like, the biggest marketing scheme comes out of nowhere, and we're getting a Lil Wayne and Young Thug song. Who do you think would feature on that project, or even maybe collaborators on the single?
I don't even think it's a question of who I want to see. I think it's a question of who you're gonna see, which is gonna be Gunna. Gunna's gonna be on there for sure. I mean, you'll probably get a bunch of the YSL guys, just because that's what Thugger does, man. He puts on for his label, right? But obviously Drake would be the ideal answer, because he's worked with both of them and they've made magic together. So that would be awesome to see. I don't know. It's weird because the Out West remix came out on No Ceilings 3.
How did you feel about that?
It was cool. I mean, it felt like their verses were just like fucking plugged into into FL Studio, wherever the fuck it was made, and that they weren't actually in the studio together. So it didn't feel like it was that much of a shared experience. But I'm excited for this.
But the cosign was cool though by Wayne, especially after you had explained the whole feud, and that was a really deep one too. And there was a lot of shit with that they were actually able to come together, and Wayne was actually able to get him a placement on a No Ceilings mixtape. Like I found that awesome, and it's just talking about that collaboration project, because I always like to tease myself with the project. Like that's my shit. Like
would you say that for most of these you'd prefer a project rather than
absolutely.
a song? Yeah, okay.
I fuck with collaboration projects. I
Same.
really do, because you don't know if that one song is going to be the best of that collaboration. You have 10 to 12 tracks, you kind of get the sort of picture and the vibe you're going to get.
It's a sample rather than the full product, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why, like, I mean, this is where I would feel like both of them would do really well. I mean, having both of them on this project, and especially that both of them are great at being solo on their own projects, let alone them coming together. And to be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of Funeral. I'm not a huge fan of, like, let's say Wayne's latest work, but No Ceilings 3 was good. But I mean,
Carter 5 was great.
Carter 5 was a great album. But I mean, I think the track list would get dragged on at a certain point. I don't know how it would sound, because I do find that sometimes, especially now, like Wayne on newer projects doesn't sound up to par. If I could put it in that sort of light for you. And do you think that that's maybe a genuine gripe right now with his music, is that he's having a bit of trouble carrying these solo albums?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Wayne hasn't lost his touch. I mean, he's still probably the best punchline rapper out there right now. Maybe he's kind of being more free-flowing in his creative process. I feel like he makes probably like fucking 50 songs a day, and then just is kind of loose with what he throws on a project as of late. But at the same time, I feel like, I Am Not a Human Being 3 is being teased for this year, and Wayne is nowhere near done. The guy keeps aging, but he's aging gracefully. Yes, Funeral wasn't that great of an album, but it's a similar situation to someone like Eminem, where it's like the talent's still there, but maybe the ability to make a quality project is slowly kind of fading. But nonetheless, I'm excited about it. But let's move on to something else, which, we still might get, but we were going to get definitely on DMX's album, which, obviously, rest in peace to DMX. That was a huge loss. But seeing him with Pop Smoke would have been brilliant, man.
It would have been brilliant. Their deliveries are extremely alike in a lot of ways. Just like the whole griminess of it, and like the whole way, like, they have that Rottweiler vibe to them, and, they're coming in with this aggressive tone, and I don't know where they would have met for the production, but I mean, fuck it. The deliveries would have sounded fantastic for it. It would have been a huge W for New York. That would have been a massive fucking W for New York. And hopefully they do release it posthumously. Like, it would make sense. If it's on the DMX album and the family wants to release the DMX album, maybe we could see it. But yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to respect like what they want to do with it. And I mean, after that whole DMX situation, I don't think that they're going to release it anytime soon, based on like what we've heard.
Well,
and everything.
Honestly, the word is that the album might come this summer, which I don't know if it's too soon. Know. It might be too soon, right?
Not that it's too soon. Like, I don't mind. Whenever we get it, we get it. But when I ever hear this summer or this fall, it's winter,
usually Cap.
They're usually taking their time on it. And like, that's what I would prefer. Is like, okay, listen, do what you got to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't mind. They could drop it tomorrow and I'm super all worried. I'll still listen to it and appreciate it. But I think going back to this feature, I mean,
they both have those deep voices.
They could do it. You know
the
what
aggressive deliveries, man.
It would be beautiful
the chemistry would be fucking unmatched. And I just feel like in both of their respective time periods of, their primes, they both had, some of the most energetic personas we've ever seen in hip hop. And if there's someone that can get you fucking hyped up and, kind of motivate you through their voice, it's the two of these guys.
It is. It definitely is. And I think both of them have such a beautiful legacy. I mean, obviously DMX legacy is like,
he had more time. Let's put it that way. He had more time to put on music.
But regardless, I mean, like, DMX legacy is like untouchable. It's a goated legacy
in
New York. And I mean, Pop Smokes will probably go down in the future as a goated legacy. But I mean, there's just I'm not even going to go into that conversation.
But yeah, like I said, it's a fact that DMX had a longer career and whatnot. But I mean,
regardless, their sounds would sound extremely, extremely similar. Not similar, but I mean, it would just blend well. It would be a well calculated song. Like, I could see that go down. regardless if it's released posthumous or not. Like, I would be down to see that.
100%.
Where do you think maybe they meet for the production? Because that was something I had mentioned, is like, okay, DMX has, is usually on an older style of production, while, Pop Smoke usually goes on drill beats and Axel beats and 808 mellow. So where do you think they meet in the middle of that?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I would have been down to see DMX, try out that drill production.
You think so?
It would have been cool, just because, I mean, he's someone who's never been afraid musically to tap into any type of, sound. So especially the fact that he was tapping in with younger artists and, artists that are popping off now, like Griselda too. I feel like he would have been more the chameleon to tap into their aesthetics and shit. So
that is true.
That would have been nice to see. Should we do a bonus? Because there is another collaboration which has been rumored. We have no word on it, but it's between Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, and Dr. Dre.
Yeah. That's very interesting. And if you guys don't know where this surfaced, it's not for, obviously it comes from social media and everyone starts, tweeting about it and the whole hype train gets going. But apparently there is a new Dr. Dre album in the works. And at least from what we've heard, rumors, speculation. And apparently Dr. Dre, Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar were in the studio working together. So
apparently
so.
It was a producer that's close to Dre that posted a picture with them, captioned it, I think it was Beats and Rhymes, and it was an older picture of them, like from probably like 2013 or something. And yeah.
No, I don't think so, man. It was a recent picture.
No, it wasn't a recent picture.
Are you sure?
I'm 100%. Yeah.
No, it wasn't? Okay.
It was not a recent picture, no. But I mean, nonetheless, we already did get, Love Game from Kendrick and Eminem on the Marshall Mathers LP 2. And to be honest with you, lyrically, they were both fucking sharp.
They were.
Lyrically, they were sharp, but it wasn't meant to be a Rick Rubin beat. I'm sorry. I didn't want to hear that rock type production. It was very simple. It was minimalistic. Like I said, you got an amazing fucking top-notch verse from Kendrick. He showed that he's worthy of being, I think he was like the only MC on the Marshall Mathers LP2, right?
Get Eminem.
That was featured,
Eminem on Backseat Freestyle. Imagine that. Imagine how fucking stupid that song would have been.
Or even a beat like Dark Side Gone from Compton, man.
That is true.
Where Kendrick just fucking ate that shit up. That would have been fire too, man.
Man, there's so many, like, even All Right would have sounded great with Eminem. I mean, once you give Eminem like a Dr. Dre sort of production, and obviously those aren't all Dr. Dre productions, but I mean, get Dr. Dre and Eminem in the studio together, it's fucking magic. And I think the same thing happens when it's Kendrick. And out of those two cosigns, who do you think maybe not like... No, I don't
who's going to body who? I can't answer that, man. I can't answer that question. Ask you that.
Who do you think would body who? Who do you think
who's going to come on top in that collaboration? Dr. Dre. He's gonna come in.
Don't beat around the bush.
He's gonna come in with this. He's gonna come in with the slapping. He's gonna come in with the slapping bass line. This fucking crazy piano melody, and that's what it's gonna be, man.
I'm all worried about bass lines. I want you to answer the question. There's a Dr. Dre song with an Eminem verse on it, and a Kendrick
Nobody's
Lamar
bodying
verse.
Anybody, man.
Who's bodying who?
No one's bodying anybody. There's no winner.
There has to be.
Do you have a fucking winner?
I'm waiting for yours to say mine.
Look,
I asked the question.
I'll go back to it. On a song like Love Game, nobody outshined anybody. I think that you can maybe say that Kendrick's vocals were more diverse because
there we go.
His vocals are more diverse. Doesn't mean he's gonna out fucking bar Eminem. Okay?
No, definitely not. I'm just fucking around on that aspect.
I think artistically, Kendrick right now is in a better place than Eminem. But if you're looking at strictly bar to bar, Eminem.
Yeah, we're just doing that for the sport, by the way. That was just jokes. But yeah, regardless.
What's your answer, though? I gave you mine.
Oh, fuck.
What's your fucking answer, man?
Sheesh.
You were talking that big talk. Let's hear it.
Kendrick's getting it for sure.
Okay.
Kendrick's going to eat him.
I don't know. He's not going to eat him.
Kendrick's going to
Relax yourself, man. He's not going to eat him. He's not going to fucking eat him up. I'm telling you now.
Kendrick's not. I'm fucking right. He's probably not going to eat him. But I mean, Kendrick's definitely in a much better place in his career than Eminem is. That's 1,000%. The type of material that Kendrick has released, let's say since even 2017, let's put it at that.
100%.
Has been much.
I'm just waiting for the real revival from Eminem. That's what I'm waiting for. For his real fucking. If he's gonna keep rapping,
do you think that would revive his career at this point?
It could. It could be the start. If he does that, if he starts hopping on some Alchemist beats, Let's fucking go.
Yeah, that is true. But hey, guys, listen, we're gonna end this here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed all the collaborations that we went through. And as I had mentioned at the beginning of the episode, thank you guys for actually watching all of these. Like, it's actually super entertaining to talk with you guys. And also go down in the comment sections, guys. Like, start having debates with people. You know,
What's your number one kind of
Absolutely.
collaboration that you want to see from this year? And guys, remember the off season this Friday. Stay tuned for that. It's gonna be probably our biggest review yet.
Thank you guys for watching the whole video. Hit that subscribe button to join the family. We're doing weekly reviews. We're giving you guys all the updates in the industry. Plus, we have our series called What to Expect, where we actually take you through the album before it drops. Plus, if you guys want to chat with us, you guys could join our Discord server. The link is in the bio. You guys could talk hip hop with us there. Thank you guys for watching again. And guys, I'll see you on the next one.